responsibility for the township, for like public hearings and things like that. I felt like the supervisors needed to endorse whatever we say. And so it's been sitting around really since August and then November, and I thought it was kind of, we should just get a response back to the county. So that was my other motivation for saying, I didn't know it was gonna be this kind of weather.
Yeah, beautiful. To 11 whenever I was coming over, so. My sister sent me a Facebook this morning. She lives in western Pennsylvania, where I grew up. It was minus 19 this morning. On the other side of Altoona. Yeah.
My yard hit a low of like 1.4.
What's that?
In my yard, it was 1.4, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, the coldest I was ever out, I delivered papers as a kid, okay, and we went out the one morning, delivered papers, 33 below. That wasn't wind chill, that was 33 below. See, it's between Bradford and, I grew up in Cherry Tree, they were the coldest places in the state. Always. It was right along the west branch of the Susquehanna River.
So you didn't freeze to death, I
No.
guess. You're still here.
Well, we dressed. I mean, you know, you put a wool scarf around your face, and when you came back, it was just all ice from your breath. You
Yeah.
come out freezing.
I've been in sub-zero weather. I know in New Hampshire, I've been up there, but I can't remember what the low was.
Yeah.
It might have been in the minus teens.
Well, I remember it because when we came back from delivering papers, my mother was crying that her sons were out at 33 below.
You were a kid, you didn't handle it.
Teenagers, yeah. Yeah.
And you probably weren't wearing a coat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We knew how to dress back then, okay, yeah. But you're moving too, right?
Right.
When you're delivering papers,
Right.
you're moving fast, you know.
Colder it gets, the faster you go. But Barb should be here, and once she's here, I think that's, so Joan is gonna be our alternate. Like, she formally resigned from the board, but, Judy, sorry.
Oh, Judy, she's gonna be an alternate still.
She will be an alternate.
Okay,
But I don't expect her to come.
Yeah, I love mine.
Cause I know where she lives, and she's got this steep hill down to her house. I said Joan because I'm thinking of another group I work with.
What's that?
I said Joan because there's another group I work with, there's a Joan in there, and
Okay.
I just,
so Judy Hogan's gonna be the alternate.
yes. She just had some challenges with her husband,
Health-wise.
health-wise, and it was getting to be too much to be the chair, so she opted to step down. But I said, you know, you could be the alternate.
Mm-hmm.
That way you're not required to be here, but if you're here, you're here.
Yeah, if you need somebody,
Yeah.
then, so, how many do we have as members?
Well, we should have 5, but I think right now we're at 4. Because
And Barb is secretary?
Barbara's the secretary. And I'm assuming she will continue to be secretary.
You said she will.
I will insist on it. I will insist.
We'll elect her to do it anyway.
Unless you want to be secretary.
Rich, are you gonna be vice chair? Is it, who's gonna be?
I'm Rich. I'm gonna be.
Oh,
chair.
I mean Luther.
Well, that's the thing, is one of you two can be the vice chair. And I've been vice chair, and quite frankly, probably over 90% of the time, it doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah, it's just if the
it's only
chair's
for
not
some
here,
reason I can't be
chair's
here.
not there for the meeting.
All right, all right.
It's just us and all in ourselves, huh?
Yeah.
We'll have to pretend there's an audience there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, when we ask questions from the public, somebody can run out there.
That's right, that's right. Okay, stop and we can start.
We can pretend it's 7:30 and start if we want.
Yeah, as soon as I put on my glasses and look in the minutes, I'm good. How are you guys doing? Reorganization, right?
Yeah.
That's the big motion.
So Dominic, we won't have any KPI people here.
Oh, okay, so we're not waiting for them, 'cause so it looks like there weren't really
Yeah,
plans or
there's nothing
anything,
that
it's
really
just that
involves him, and
we have to meet.
they don't wanna have them coming, which
Sure.
they cost,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't really have anything to do with it.
So,
Who's our attorney?
They just changed that, and I'm not
did
sure.
they change it? I was wondering.
Is it the same as the township? Do we have the same?
Oh, for us, yes,
Yes.
the township, but the township's solicitor changed this year.
Okay.
It had a guy by the name of Lisco, and I watched the supervisor meeting online, but I didn't really catch the guy's name.
Okay, but it is a new, so it's not Lisco anymore.
I don't think he works, like, I don't think they're within the same firm, I think he's separate. And
Okay.
exactly what went on with that, I don't know anything,
Okay,
other than I believe there's a new solicitor.
okay. Oh, right. So Rich, are you the acting chair until you're?
Well,
the
at this
official chair?
point, I am the vice chair,
That, right,
until
In the
meeting.
absence of a chair.
right, and cause I'm assuming Judy's not coming, or are we still waiting?
Well, Judy, I don't imagine she's coming, just knowing where she lives and with the way the weather is,
Yeah, that's what,
she would need
I
like,
would,
she would need like,
I don't know how she'd get up that hill.
Yeah,
Why she'd
exactly.
want to go up the hole, right?
she lives down in a hole,
Oh, God, no, so,
a deep hole.
yeah.
Who's she doing?
It's, I don't know what,
It's in the ranch section of Carroll Valley as you
But
kind of go up to Upper
but
Trail.
she's sort of like
But then it
bounds
goes
up.
down towards Friends Creek.
Okay.
So, you know, her driveway basically goes straight down in the woods. So,
Down like Walnut Trail, or isn't that Walnut?
She-
Or
she's
Walnut?
at-
Just past
She's
Walmart.
on a,
Mhm.
she's on, I guess, a small farm or whatever.
mm-hmm.
So it wasn't originally part of that
I used to
development,
live,
but you go through that development to get to her place.
Right, right.
Hideaway Trail, you know where that is?
Yeah, it's,
you go, like our friends live on Walnut, you go on Walnut and kind of up at, you know, on Walnut, and then I think it branches off to Upper Trail, kind of to your left, and then her driveway goes down there, and it actually ends up on Friends Creek, but you can't get to it from, you know, the ranch section, how you could go around Friends Creek, you can't actually get to it that way.
Right.
But she's actually kind of down there. Yeah. It's funny, we used to live in the ranch section, and I'd take my bike ride, my bike over the hill, and then I'd be off in, you know, Harbaugh Valley and down near the resorts and all these little paths in the woods. Then I had to go all the way back, you know, to Route 16 to come home, because I didn't know how I'd gotten there through the woods. Anyway. So do you call a meeting to order then, I guess, as the vice chair,
Yeah.
or do I? Okay.
Well, I can say, I
Okay.
was just quickly looking to see if they updated who the solicitor was.
Okay.
Yeah, it's now DeThief's, Pykosh and Murphy.
They just changed
Oh.
beginning of the year.
Okay.
Probably when they reorganized.
That's, from,
Oh, that's the name of a firm.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of first name is Death?
That's their last name, probably.
Yeah.
I'm sure his last name
That's
is
less.
of the.
Yeah.
Pykosh and Murphy. Oh, at least we know Murphy.
Yeah, we'll show Luther, we can't pronounce it.
Murphy's Law.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's the one.
Okay.
These are, the previous one was easier to pronounce, just listen.
Yes, yes. And then the other one was easy because it was just Wally. I know he had a last name, but everyone called him Wally.
So I guess you do the roll call?
You call the meeting to order, yep, and then I do roll call. Okay, Rich Luquette. Oh, well, did you call it to order? What? We called it to order at what? 7:36. That's what I have.
That's close.
Rich or Luther, Ken.
Present.
Okay.
And Judy's gonna be alternate.
That's what, I don't know what to call it. I mean, not present. We haven't done the titles yet, but we're all gonna change. Cause you're gonna be a
Well,
regular
it-
member, right, Ken?
Yes.
And she'll be the alternate, right?
Yeah, as far as being either on the board or the alternate, that's, the supervisors really did that when they did their reorganization.
Okay,
What we're doing is just deciding who
It's
the
our roles.
officers are.
okay. Alright, so before the minutes, we do the motion.
That's the way it is on here.
Yeah,
Okay. Should we just jump in?
Hmm.
I guess so.
Are you alright, Rich?
Nominate. I would make a motion that Rich be the chair.
I second, let's see, second.
And I won't object.
Thank you. I'm excited.
So, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay.
So, do either of you want to be the vice chair?
Well, Luther's been here longer. I think it'd be more appropriate that he be the vice chair.
Which the main thing would be running the meeting if I can't be here.
Yeah, that's no problem. My only problem, I don't hear very well. I miss a lot of what's being discussed a lot of times.
So you say, talk up, speak up.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Well, it doesn't matter,
Yeah, it's just blah, 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 blah.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. But other than that, I'm fine. Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay.
That's a motion.
I make a motion to nominate Luther Ridge as vice chair.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And,
I'd make a motion that Barbara would be the secretary.
one second.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
I assume you're okay with it.
I'm okay with it. If y'all are okay with it, I'm okay with it.
I read through the minutes from the last meeting and,
Didn't see anything glaring,
huh?
nothing glaring. Make a motion that we accept the minutes for the December 17th meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, minutes are done. So, I guess my only comment is I'm chair. And like I said earlier, Judy has agreed. I talked to her after the last meeting and suggested that she might wanna consider being the alternate, which is what Nancy had done.
Right, she kinda, and Judy agreed to?
And Judy said, yeah, that would be a good idea. So I assume she talked to Barlow or supervisors or Wendy or
Okay.
whatever. And so she is now, and I believe that was in the supervisors meeting that they named her as alternate,
Okay.
so.
Oh, that's great, then she's here for advice if we need it.
That's what, I was kinda hoping she would because there's so much history of what's gone on here that
Oh,
I just
yeah.
don't know.
With
I mean,
her on the zoning hearing
I've only
board
been
and
on-
the planning commission.
I've only been on this maybe 5 years, 4 years, something like that.
Same, I think I came on the year before
Yeah.
you did.
So I just, all that other stuff, and you know some of the local history like the wormhole.
The warm wall, I know about
stuff,
that.
yeah.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
other than that,
No public.
And I think we noted in the last one that you were you just appointed to the commission at the last meeting, or was that? Okay,
Yeah, and
so I'll make
I was alternate
Right,
at that point, and
okay,
with the,
and then
they
Horace
asked me to be
decided to step
permanent.
down, which we weren't anticipating.
right, okay, so I'll just say in the chair comments that Ken Faribaugh was appointed as a member and Judy as an alternate at the last board meeting, okay.
So, any public comment? I don't hear it.
No public.
So the other main thing with this is, you know, I talked about this earlier before the meeting started, but, we met back, Freedom Township wanted an update to the comprehensive plan to help with their loan or grant requests and things like that.
Did they have someone at the, your workshop or whatever?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and there was only a couple people there. There was a guy from Fairfield, Carroll Valley, I think, and Freedom Township. But there's a couple other townships that are part of that plan that weren't there. I think Hampton Man's part of it.
and when was the meeting that you were?
On the comprehensive plan,
I mean, when was it? that you-
August.
Okay, so there hasn't been a meeting since August.
There hasn't been
Okay,
since then.
okay,
And the county agreed to give a draft scope of work for a minor update. So they sent a letter in November, which they had said they would send in September.
right, right,
And outlined what they were planning on suggesting should be the key things to update.
okay.
And that was attached to the PDF with the minutes and all that.
Okay.
So I don't know if you read it.
I did not have a chance to read that, but I did see that you had sent that,
Yeah.
so.
And so the main thing is, for this, is for us to say, what they're proposing seems reasonable. The key thing is, they're taking on responsibility for most of the work. The township would only have to cover things like if there's public hearings that have to take place or things like that. If there was a more extensive plan revision, then there may be some financial burden on the township.
But
And
right now,
my
there's-
gut feel is the townships aren't really enthusiastic about spending apparently the original one that was done like in 2010 or something, they did a lot of work. principle, they're supposed to update it every 10 years.
Right. But I just remember that was a big deal in trying to kind of get some economies of scale because we're all by little township and, you know, trying to get some together and really planning for so many things such as the housing and transportation and
Right.
economics and, I was not involved in that, but I just remember that it was
Yeah.
felt like people felt like it was really needed.
And what the plan's supposed to do then is guide the townships or municipalities, in case of Fairfield,
Right.
on enacting with
decisions.
zoning
Yeah.
regs or whatever to implement it, but I don't, at least in my time being here, every now and then you do have to do something to say it's consistent with the plan, but
When I send an official letter of recommendation, you know, when we have voted to approve a plan or recommend not approving it or that it needs changes, conditional approval, we in the letter always have to say that our decisions are consistent with the joint municipal plan. So it's a good thing besides being familiar with our ordinances, being
Right.
familiar with, you know, what's the plan for growth, which to me, it's always been in a nutshell, you know, balancing our rural character and
Right.
quality of life with the need for economic development. I think if you had to summarize it in one sentence.
Do we do this as a recommendation to the
so
Right,
the idea
yeah.
would be is we
township
would,
supervisors?
we would recommend to the supervisors that they, that we endorse the proposal
For updating the plan.
for updating the plan
Take care.
and let them take action. I mean, I did a quick look through there, cause I'm not, the plan is a big thing, and I didn't go through the whole thing, but, there was one piece of data in there where they had on housing information, and they showed things like, you know, that it had water and things like that. And one of the things was telephone service. And it occurred to me, well, maybe back in 2010, telephone service was important to identify. But today, how many people already have cell phones? And so a landline into a house, like I don't have a landline.
Yeah, we do because cell service where we are
Yeah.
can be problematic.
And we have a landline because the only way we can get internet is through DSL. Well, I suppose now we could get a T-Mobile hotspot, but I haven't moved to that yet.
That's what I have.
Yeah,
That works pretty
I
good.
really liked it,
It works well for me.
yeah.
We used to have the DSL with,
Mm-hmm.
I forgot, CenturyLink, I think it was, and then it changed name to,
How would we make recommendations to you? Cause maybe, I mean, that's something I think of, maybe instead of landline phone service, maybe it's, needs to kind of catalog internet service.
that's exactly where I was getting at.
Okay, right, because that's what people
What?
need, internet service.
They identify in these surveys whether or not the house has high-speed internet. Or
They do.
internet at all.
Yeah.
Oh, so they are doing that.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh.
They're just saying, they're saying we're updating this section, when you look at the tables in there, the current tables identify phone service as a key factor.
And now it's
And now I'm thinking it really should say internet.
internet's right, because, right,
But-
without
Well,
internet.
there's a problem within our county in
Mm-hmm.
particularly
Right.
Upper Adams areas where people don't have high speed. They're getting more now, but
Right.
Yeah.
it's been a real problem for them.
Yeah, well, like I said, even here, you know, just living on Crum Road here, it was ages before we got DSL.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of used a cell phone hotspot, but if you don't have the cell towers, I mean, it's been gradual, and I'm sure
Yeah.
up in the mountains, there's still people who don't have reliable internet. Yeah.
So, and there were some other sections, like they had a section on facilities and services, which included things like fire department and stuff like that, which they weren't talking about updating, but to me with the growth that's occurred since over the last 10 years, they need to look at more of that data. And those are just two examples, so my inclination would be to say for the supervisors to endorse the plan that the county put forward. But also, when this group of representatives from the included municipalities meets, they should look and see if there's stuff missing and whether it should be added, and if it should be added, what's the cost?
So when the county starts this, then they'll come out to the municipalities for input.
I think first is the municipalities will go to county and meet together.
That's what I mean. So-
Yeah,
so that-
as opposed to them coming to us, we'll go to them.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah.
communication.
Right.
Communicating
Right.
that this needs to be done, so then we would get together with them, okay?
So, and apologies, am I the only one who hasn't looked at this memo? Sorry. Cause I did have some thoughts before, like when you told me you were, joining the effort for updating the plan, I had some thoughts, I think
Affordable
housing, I think, has become much more of an issue in this county because of how, especially around Gettysburg, how homes skyrocketed.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how and when would members of the planning commission or supervisors or public I guess we would funnel thoughts to you as our representative for the township to the meetings, like
Yeah.
how does that work? Gathering input like
Well,
that.
as a first step, it's a question whether or not all the municipalities wanna tackle a bigger thing, which it's not clear to me they do.
Mm-hmm.
So they may only be interested in the minimum of taking census data from 2020 and updating all the charts and everything in the document, and maybe make some other minor changes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what they said, update through 2020
Yeah.
data.
Right, because even though I think the plan date was late, like the latest census info they had might have been even 3 or 4 years before that,
Mhm.
so it's pretty out of date. So just updating the background info. But they do say they want to update the goals and recommendations for the
Yeah.
topic areas too.
So all we have to do at this point is make a motion to let the supervisors know that we would back the updating the comprehensive plan.
Yeah, and I think specifically that we would endorse what the county has proposed, but encourage further discussion of whether or not the scope should be expanded.
Right. And if so, what is the cost?
Yeah. Can you wordsmith that so it's an understandable statement? We can-
Yes, and I'll actually, and there's a lot of good wording, yeah, it's skimming this about what they wanna do. Meet again, confirm the scope of work. So, say Rich made a motion?
I can make the motion.
We haven't actually made the motion,
We haven't
just
made a
in the
motion.
discussion, okay,
Well, since he's the chair, I'll make the motion.
okay. Motion to recommend that the supervisors endorse the plan the county has put forward.
We'll
But-
notify the county that we would encourage approval of the county's plan to update the comprehensive plan.
To recommend the board of
So
supervisors
recommend to
approve the plan.
supervisors.
Yeah, that's what, we recommend that the board of supervisors approve the plan.
Updating
updating the plan as noted.
Um,
Do we wanna add into that, somehow how to wordsmith, but we recommend the Board of Supervisors update the plan as noted and
Notify the county.
that the
We're,
board-
we're making a recommendation to the supervisors.
that they notify the county.
But I guess the other part I would think is to
But that's
just
discussion.
encourage further
Right.
discussion to possibly expanding the scope.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they agree with updating the plan as noted, and they encourage further discussion of the scope. You know, of
Yeah.
the possible, of the possible scope needed.
Yeah.
You know, of the possible, of a possible expanded scope
And identify
and
what.
and identify the cost of that.
Right.
I second the motion.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So putting that together, does that have to go as a memo or something to the supervisors? How does that work?
Yeah, and this is where Dawn usually advises us whether it's an official recommendation and needs a letter or not.
Well, they were given the minutes. Okay, send them the minutes, and the minutes reflect our approval and recommendations to you as the supervisors.
Right. Sometimes they say we need a formal memo
Okay.
that
Can
goes
you
to the
just call
lawyer.
Wendy and ask her?
I'll ask Wendy, cause I'm looking at the email from Rob Thaler. Have appropriate elected officials and staff review it, we should meet. Yeah, I don't know that we need something official, it doesn't say that we need your approval, but,
Just that the supervisors see that we've done this.
right, exactly.
My other
So I'll ask
concern is
Wendy.
the supervisor, if there is a cost for like public hearing or something like that,
Right,
we can't approve funding.
No, and it even says that
Right.
the elected officials
Yeah,
are the
it's-
ones that, yeah.
that could be their cost for hearing,
Yeah.
so I'll ask Wendy, do we need a formal memo or just in my email when I send out the draft minutes, is it enough to just bring it to the attention of supervisors that this is going on?
And probably you, Rich, as the chair, you're the connection with the primary connection with the supervisors.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you'd be going to the meeting and you'd be kind of giving them an update that, hey, the main thing is you need to be aware there's costs and possibly, you know, we want to leave it open, I guess, to see if there's something else we need and what the cost of that would be. Okay. Yep, I have my thoughts straight, cool, okay.
Then I guess we could have a motion to adjourn, unless people just want to sit around.
I'm ready to adjourn. So moved.
Okay,
You want a second?
alright. I'm in favor.
So we had
Happy New Year. Merry
Very
Next
good.
meeting is scheduled.
And I can tell you that, when there's no plans to review or anything like that, we've had a lot of meetings